Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stephen Rockwood Show. My name, as you know, is Polar Ice, and I am here today with the wonderful Sara Berry. Sara, how are you?
Good. How are you? I don't
I
get a full
am,
name.
I mean, Sara Berry is already a pretty cool name. I don't know if you can beat that. You,
That's true. Yeah.
you can do a lot of branding around Sara Berry.
Let's do it. I should do that.
I mean, you can have a berry as your logo to start, and you're already
Yeah.
89% of the way there.
I've definitely thought of that before and dropped the ball.
I could see that working well too, because especially because we were just talking about like right before we hopped on about you wanting to dress in some brighter colors.
Yes.
I mean, if you had a berry logo even on your black shirt, little strawberry or
Mhm.
something, that'd
I should
be
start doing that.
nice and
Small
colorful.
little Easter eggs in my videos.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you look at my LinkedIn posts, I put some penguins in the background sometimes, just
You
of
do.
ones that have nothing to do with penguins. They're just like working out. There's one where it's like a gym photo, I think, or I think there's glass behind me, like a skyscraper, like I'm in the top, and
Oh,
I
yes.
have little aliens peeking through the windows at me and a UFO in the background.
Anything goes.
Yeah, yeah. There are no rules,
I love
but
it. I'll definitely consider that.
yeah, it's fun. That being said, I know we've done a live together on LinkedIn before, and that was really
We
fun, and
have.
that's how we both
So
met.
fun.
Yeah, we both met a lot of cool future clients and friends and other LinkedIn superstars or wannabe superstars in our case, I guess.
Yes.
Getting there.
Yes.
We're
We
getting
are
there.
getting there. The growth is slow some days and fast other days. It's very back and forth.
Yeah, it really is. And I've found that my engagement is still super high, even when my reach and impressions are low, the engagement is super high. But I've also noticed that on the posts that don't have a lot of engagement, where it's more like a marketing thing, where I'm like pushing something, even if there's not a lot of engagement, I get more people signing up for stuff on the posts that don't do well compared to like the posts that do really well. I had a post that it was probably like my third most popular post ever a week or two ago, and it was to sign up for my wait list for my course. And I was like, ooh, and I got so much interaction. I had one person sign up. I was like,
Oh my
what
goodness.
the?
I feel like, yes, it's actually nice to share this behind the scenes because I think people think or assume that cash is just flowing in because you're present on LinkedIn, and it's not the case. It's very slow progress. It's still progress. But yeah, I feel the same every time I have a couple of free opt-ins where people can, be on my email list, but they're also learning something at the same time. So one of them is a mini training. Another one is a filming scene shot list for their B-roll, for their
Yeah,
short videos. And so one is a little bit more involved. Is more, simple and just a quick download. I added that one after the fact because not many people were actually signing up for the mini class because it's work. Like I'm
yeah,
telling you how to do something that you want to do, get on video, but it requires you to do 3 days of activities. Not everyone wants to do that.
yeah,
But I think I'm also gonna roll it back to just saying, "Hey, wanna be on my newsletter list?" Because
yeah,
sometimes people just wanna do the path of least resistance. That's okay too.
yep,
We're
yeah,
experimenting here.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I had my podcast and newsletter in the same Substack, and I noticed every time I'd publish newsletters, I'd get a lot of engagement and people liked it and commented. And then when I'd put podcasts, it would send it like a newsletter. So it just kind
Mhm.
of looks spammy because not everyone cared about the podcast. They just wanted the newsletter. So I was actually losing newsletter subscribers because I was pushing multiple things to the same list.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, but
So
you don't know these things until you try it. I think that's
yeah,
such a big lesson that I wouldn't have learned until I started putting content out there. When I was in planning mode, which was for many years, I planned and planned and planned, and I didn't put my business out there. I had all my clients came through referrals. So it was like, well, I don't really need to post online. But if I was ever going to grow, of course, you should be posting online. Your business
yeah,
kind of doesn't exist if it's not on the internet, right? So,
yep, pretty much.
But yeah, I would be a little bit afraid to do that, but I would do all these plans and I had Trello boards and Excel spreadsheets and all these videos I was going to film and all these posts, profound posts I was going to make.
Yeah.
And they probably would not even perform well even with an audience because they're not that profound. It was just once you start doing it, you figure out what works, and that pre-planning is no indicator of that something's going to work. Like you
Yeah.
really have to riff off of your audience and know what works for them and what they come to appreciate you for. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think just trying stuff is definitely important. Like even outside of LinkedIn, when I was making video game communities and videos, I would make these really in-depth videos that would take like 6 months to produce. And then I started reacting to other people's videos. Like I literally would just watch them on stream or on the computer and record myself just like this talking about the video and like reacting to it and saying like what was cool about it, what they did. And people liked that more than my other content, and it was the laziest content ever. But it was just fun. That took off, and even now, I haven't made one of those videos in 6 years, and I still probably once a week have a message either on Twitter or Discord like, "Hey, when are you going to react to another video?" And they'll like send me links to their videos to watch.
Oh my gosh, I love that. But that
Yeah, so
shows your personality. It's a peek behind the curtain. It's like, oh, who is this creator? And
yeah,
I mean, that stuff does work and that builds an audience. I see so many people on LinkedIn or other platforms that just post straight up educational content. And that was me at first as well, where it's like, how to do this. Here's an idea, do this. Well, they don't even trust you yet, unless on LinkedIn, of course, people you've worked with before in your corporate life, in your past lives, in your past, positions that you've held. I think that was what held me back a lot in the beginning was every boss I've ever had is on LinkedIn.
yeah,
Every person I've ever worked with, every work enemy or frenemy I've ever had is
yeah,
on my LinkedIn. Old boyfriends are on LinkedIn.
yep,
I haven't had the time or energy to just go unfollow them. So
yeah,
I'm thinking, all right, well, everybody in my universe is going to see what I'm posting. Um, but yeah, I do see that maybe that's why I stayed with educational stuff at first. It was safe. And then I started talking about, hey, I was actually afraid to do this, but it worked, or I liked it, or just something so simple. And it started building an audience. And then I was
hmm
meeting people like you and other creators who were in the same place in their journey. And it just felt awesome. Like there are peers out here that I didn't know I'd be able to forge these friendships with until I put myself out there.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like one thing you learn a lot too is a lot of the people they present themselves as like they're a professional and they do this one thing. And then you talk to them and you find out, no, that's what they want to do, but they actually work full time somewhere
Mhm.
else right now and
Yeah.
they're working on that. So it's like, oh, I thought you were like, a life coach or something or whatever you were, but really that's what you want to be. And you're like branding yourself as that, but really like you currently work in tech sales.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's smart. And I wish I would have done that when I was still in corporate. I mean, you're right. Some of these profiles are fully optimized to their current side gig, not their full-time job. And I think that's amazing that people do that. When I was in corporate, I would not have had the strength or whatever you want to call it to
Yeah.
say, this is what I do. Even when, my side gig when I was in a corporate job was graphic design and I was just dabbling in it. I was doing it for free for a lot of coworkers to build my portfolio. And then I kind of just left it aside because I didn't see a way to make it a solo job or like my only job, my core way of making income. I see that
Yeah.
now that I've been in business for a while, but back then it was like, what do I do? Just charge hourly? That's not going to make you any money. You can't leave a corporate job with that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I wish I would have done that and built an audience before leaving corporate. That would have been a nice head start.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm at the point in my journey where I could go either direction, dive all into my own thing, jump back to corporate, do a little mix, and I've
Hmm.
always done a mix my whole life, so I feel like even in college I was teaching tennis 30 hours, 40 hours a week and taking 21 credits and then also doing live streaming as like a full-time gig and all this stuff. So I'm always doing something, so I don't think I could ever just be working for one company and not doing anything outside of it. So
Yeah, I totally feel you there because especially when you're creative, like I know you're a creative person, it is really tough to just dedicate to one business, one company, one role, one project. And then you do feel like you're just building someone else's dream and not your own because you're just dabbling over here in this thing for 6 months, a year and a half. That's happened to me. A lot of my corporate training projects in the first 5.5 years of my business, that's all I did was corporate training projects. Long term, I think the shortest project I did have a couple short term, maybe like a month here, but most of them were 6 months to almost 2 years at a time.
yeah,
So imagine you're doing corporate projects, you're working with corporate teams. Yes, you're on the outside. Yes, you have freedom, but you're still working on a corporate project for a year and a half potentially. You're trying to get people to make decisions and they're not making decisions and they're just kicking the can down the road. And it's like, this is wearing me down. Hours wise, it's not that crazy. I have a lot of flexibility, I have a lot of freedom, but if they can't make decisions, when am I going to get off this project and
yeah,
work on me?
yep, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and one of the other things I've found is a lot of people don't want to experiment with their brand, or even they just don't think that anything will work except for the one thing that they for some reason think works and doesn't bring results, but they're like, we just need to do that more. So when you come in and you're like, hey, you should try these things, then they're like, ooh, that person's scary, they're too creative, we need this person who's gonna take a picture of our product and write, we are the best product, and there'll
Yeah.
be nothing else around it.
Yeah. Keep the status quo.
Yeah,
That perfectly describes the last corporate job I had before I left. I came in and I remember I would say, why aren't we doing more innovative things? And I wasn't talking about, taking a rocket ship to the moon. I was talking about, let's do a little bit of creativity over here, this thing over here that I have personally done at other companies. It's not like I'm just searching the internet for fun things to do. I
yeah,
just thought, okay, we're a learning and development department. Why are we not seeing what our people, our employees want to learn and then making it a little bit more fun or a little bit more exciting?
yeah,
And we had a career coach come in and a few of us got signed up to work with him and he was great. He had such a good outside perspective and he helped me mentally handle a lot of this during that time. But he
yeah,
said, one thing I'll suggest you, don't even say the word innovative. It scares these people. They are
yeah,
so stuck in the status quo. And he had been working with them for like 20 years or something. He knew them very well. He knew leadership. He knew all of that. He said, don't use the word innovative. You're scaring them. I
yeah,
was like, oh, okay. Well, I won't do that, but also I'm in the wrong place.
yeah, fair. And the ironic thing is, those companies are probably the first ones to fire all their staff in lieu of AI and not understand how any of it works.
Right. Just making knee-jerk reactions and yeah, I've known a few people that got hired this month or in March. Well, March and April so far. So in this season or this part of the year, which is great news to hear that people that have been on the job market for months and months and months, almost a year, that they're getting hired. But it's the firing that's going on or the laying off that's going on everywhere is greater than that. So all
Yeah,
these great stories you hear, there's a lot of negative stories and it's just
yeah.
so treacherous. There's no safe zone anymore for just sitting and chilling at a job. That's
I
not
know.
my style, but
Uh,
some people want that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It is crazy. And it's just, and then you have all these people saying that AI is not replacing jobs, which it might not be. It might not be replacing all jobs, but
Full
you
job.
can do so much so fast that
Mhm.
one person can do the work of 20 if they know how it works. So it's like, yeah, it's not taking, and they're like, you just gotta be innovative and like learn the new technology. And it's like, yeah, but the new technology, if everyone learns it, there's not enough work to be done because it's done. Like if we all used AI, we'd be writing 800 blog posts a day. Like,
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I just remember back to some of my jobs that I had, and some of them were very strategic. Like a human definitely had to do it. It was very relationship building. But then others were pull this report twice a day and da 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 da.
yeah,
And I'm just thinking of all the people I've worked with in the past that that's what they did was check email and pull reports all day.
Mhm.
And I can't imagine what it's like now or what maybe they're a little freaked out by by
Yeah.
AI. Like they really could take those jobs.
Yeah.
Even though in title it's probably or on paper it's probably a really important job, but you know what happens? You get in at these companies and the title seems like it's strategic or a relationship, but it ends up being, hey, do this task and then do this other task. And then you feel like in some cases it's not what you interviewed for.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually went to one a couple weeks ago. It was like a social media manager or something position, right down the road from here. And first of all, it was a three-person interview, like not three, like a panel. It was like me and two other interviewees at the same
Oh,
time. I was
I don't
like,
like
you,
that.
no, I was like, you probably should have fucking told me that beforehand, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awkward. That's
Yeah.
extremely awkward. I don't
So
like that.
that was weird, but the other thing was basically the whole interview was just him asking us if the job description was good and made sense. And then he and then he was like, "Well, it's a social media manager role, but you're going to be doing a lot more because what can you do? Spend maybe 2 hours a week doing social media?" And I'm like,
He does
yeah,
not get it.
yeah." And I was like, "I would never work for this person in a million years."
Yeah. That's the type of person that still thinks social media is an intern's job in 2009.
Yeah,
Even in 2009, there was a lot you could do with social media.
yeah, yeah. It
I
was
do remember oh, go ahead.
no. You go. Continue.
I remember I had a job at a smaller company in 2010, right when I moved to Atlanta, and they were a small tech company, and I was doing their marketing, which at the time was a lot of email outreach. I think it was warm because we kind of like knew all these contacts and had met them at conferences and things like that. So it wasn't spammy or anything. But then I remember I was trying to get them to do things beyond that. And the only real option at the time was go on Facebook and go follow our clients' pages.
Yeah,
Like that's really all you could do at the time.
yeah,
Maybe open a Twitter account, but we had a very specific client. And so I don't know what I could have done beyond that. But now I look back and I cringe because it's like, wow, that's very one-dimensional, Sarah. Like you could have really you could have been, to use my word earlier, innovative, and you
yeah.
weren't. I was very young at the time, though. One of
That
my
is
first jobs.
that is fair. I remember feeling like I broke the internet when I was making one of my community Facebook pages, and I found the feature where you could invite people to like the page who have liked a post or interacted.
Mm.
So I realized ads are way cheaper when you're just going for likes instead of when you're trying to get followers. So I would do boosts on posts that I knew would just appeal to all the people I was trying to appeal to, and they would like it or interact. I'd put like some sort of hook bait in it, and then I programmed this extension so it would automatically every day just go through my Facebook and invite 100 people to like it. And I got to
Smart.
25,000 followers in a month just doing that because it just
My goodness.
kept going up. It's so funny. And then I'd have people comment on stuff. I'd like post it, and then every once in a while I'd have a comment like, "I don't know how I found this page, but I love it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I probably scammed you."
I snuck in there for you. Yeah. Wow.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting to see how things have moved along, and obviously now it's a lot to juggle any sort of social media or social
yeah,
platforms. If you're a social media manager, you can't do it all. There's no way.
yeah. No, it's tough, especially if you're trying to do like if you're like in a little mom and pop company or like a little agency, it's a little bit easier because you can just spread stuff out. But if you're in like a big company where you have all these different players that you're trying to appeal to, whether it's stockholders and potential clients and potential employees in the future and vendors, it's like you have
Yeah.
to be on so many different social media platforms, and your content has to be so tailored to each one that like you don't want to you're not going to post super educational content on like your personal Facebook page, whereas on your personal LinkedIn, you'll probably post very educational content.
And
So,
I think the creativity gets so watered down by the time you've met with 10 different teams. And, I don't know how it works at a big corporation. And in like, if you were a social media manager, I'm assuming those teams are pretty big. And the players that they have to play to are probably trying to keep it safe or play it safe.
Yeah.
And a social media manager or social media guru of any sort is going to tell you that that's not the way to go.
Yep. Yeah, and a big thing too is people like leadership usually doesn't understand digital
Yes.
marketing, so the KPIs that they choose to follow don't impact their business in any capacity. So you're like, like they want, have 500 people sign up for the email newsletter, and it's like, okay, great, but we don't use the email newsletter to advertise sales, so we're not making money from it. Whereas when we post like, hey, we're doing a free like evaluation, sign up today, and you do that, then you're like, all right, now they're in the door because they're actually interested in the product. It's not
Mhm.
just they're interested in education about concrete driveways.
Yeah. But it's also it's so interesting because sometimes it's just good PR. It's just good to have yourself at the forefront of your potential clients, and you're always going to have people that are not your clients that are in your audience, but
Yeah.
they just like what you do or they're supporting you. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But a lot of people will. I know some video creators now that are, I wouldn't even say they're video creators. They just like video. They talk about video. And that's a part of their business. And they talk a lot about business results and business results. And I'm like, my head's spinning because I'm like, I don't care about the business results. I care about the fact that you made a video and what impact it made. Yes. And then the business results come after that. I feel
Hmm.
like there's a couple of steps before that.
Yeah.
And it's all the different types of videos too. There's some videos or content in general. It doesn't have to be videos. That's just that one example. You could talk about, like you just said, is there a call to action that's making them do something in particular? And then you got these signups or you have sales because of it. Um, but sometimes it's just awareness. A
Yeah.
lot of it's awareness.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. On a somewhat similar topic, as far as posting to the right niche and the right content, there's one person I follow on LinkedIn. I don't even know their name, but I save all their posts because I laugh. Because every 2 or 3 weeks, I think they just put in a different content creator's posts into an AI platform and have them rewrite it for them. So they keep spouting all this stuff like this. The last 3 weeks have all been about how making engaging content gets more comments, and by getting more comments you build community. I have counted, and how as soon as I did this one thing, everything changed. Now I have a community. I have looked at their post for the past month. They have 5 total comments and they post 10 times a day.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was just getting at is this. You see people talking about something, you go investigate not to be an investigator, but you just go look, oh, cool, this person's talking about a topic I'm also interested in. And they're talking about results, results, results. And I don't really see the results.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't always see the back end. The front end
Yeah.
may be different. The front end is the awareness, like as just somebody stumbling on somebody else's profile. You're going to see the outside view. You're
Yeah.
not going to see the back end. Maybe they're making a ton of sales. Who knows? But I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. There feels like there's a disconnect here.
Yeah, definitely feels like, and those are the people that I don't like, I wouldn't work with because, like, even
Exactly.
if they are good at business, they're not good at showing me that they're good at business. So I'm like,
Or
I'm never going to talk
people
to
skills. Or
you.
people skills. That's very important to me. I know not everybody cares. Some people just want to cut to the chase and, hey, let's make a deal. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. But I'm a people person. I want to have small talk before we get down to it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And that's actually like my favorite part about having a podcast is I never listen to my podcast back. Like I don't listen to the whole thing. I maybe listen to a few clips every once in a while if I remember something, but I just like it because people see it and then maybe they'll see someone they recognize from a company or something that I've talked to, and it just bolsters my authority a little bit more. And I feel like it kind of shows my brand too because I get to, like, I only have people on the show that I actually want to talk to. So I feel like it gives people a glimpse of
Thank
like
you.
these are the type of people that Steve wants to talk to and like will work with.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I completely agree with you. I feel like why wouldn't we want to work with only the people we enjoy?
Hmm.
I think that's something that I struggled with so much in a corporate job because
Yeah.
not to keep going back to that, but you just work with whoever works at that company.
Yep.
And it's the luck of the draw. In some places, you end up really fitting in with the culture, and other times you might not. But then you go solo. And at first, for me, it was like, I'll get whatever projects I can get. And you start to realize what types of clients and types of work you really
Hmm.
don't like at
Yeah,
all.
for sure. Yeah, I have
It's
found
nice
that
to pick.
Yeah, I have found the lowest paying clients have are the hardest to work with by far. And there's two reasons. One, they're greedy and want the most they can get out of something and they're just good business people. And then two, they're super attached to their business. So it's like a small like cafe or mom and pop shop that just opened and they're super attached to it. So any dime that they spend needs to be good and they're watching everything. And those are the hardest people to work for because you're charging them $500 a month to run all their marketing and you're talking to them 4 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like a nightmare. I didn't actually work with them. I just had initial conversations with them, but there was a company that's small in terms of retail. It was a retail company, and the original founder of the company was still the CEO 13 years later, which is
Yeah,
kind of rare for retail.
it is. Yeah.
Usually they've exited by then, and I know for me that would be really tough if I had started a retail company when I was in my 20s. I would be probably holding on to it pretty tightly.
Yeah.
But this CEO wanted a lot of involvement. And I was actually stunned because I've never seen that for the types of projects I do. Usually it's like, oh, I just work with the retail sales team, or this person over here that's a director. They're
Yeah.
more than qualified to be outsourcing projects. And yeah, this CEO was great, but just wanted to ask a lot of questions, and it seemed like there was a lot of control. And then also, I also think that the vision was totally different than the team's vision that I had talked to originally.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I wonder what it's like to work there. I'm sure it's fun because it's like a young, hip company, but it just seems like there's still growing pains. And part of that might be because the original founder is still at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
That
know how that works though.
it makes it tough because I worked for a construction company that had been around for 52 years. So it was the owner's, like the original founder's
Mm.
son who was the
Oh,
CEO
wow.
when I came in, and he'd grown up with the business, so it was his baby. And
Mhm.
my first meeting, like with him as the marketing director, he had an idea. And I was like, that is a stupid idea. And I was like, we should do this instead. And then my boss, after she goes, no one has ever said his idea was bad and no one's ever said it was stupid. And I'm like, well, he's going to hear it a lot if I'm
Yeah.
here.
No one's ever told him that because he's the founder's son or the CEO's
Yeah.
son.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Uh,
worked for a very big corporate company. It was the last place I worked before I left to start my business. And they were like third or fourth generation, the son of the son of the son of the son
Yeah.
of the founder, like so many layers.
Yeah.
Like, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it depends what generation you get. I feel like the second is always the worst. I feel like after the second, it gets better again. I feel like the
This was at
first,
least the third.
yeah, I feel like the first is the best. Second is the worst always because they're the ones that grew up as like the spoiled one that knew it was coming, so it was handed to them a lot of the time. Whereas
Mm.
like the third,
The
fourth,
third
and
one
fifth,
had
I feel
choice.
they had a choice. They were like, hey, like I have more that I can do, but my older brother might pass this on to me eventually, so I guess I'll go.
True. Well, even their whole leadership team, the board, like there were so many people in the family, the
Yeah.
sister, the aunt, the
Yep.
cousin. I'm like, this is a huge company.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's
Make
so
it make
funny.
sense. But you can't say these things when you work for a company like that, maybe with your friends, but you feel like you can't air these grievances. So it's nice to be
Yeah.
able to talk about it
It
now,
yeah. No, and
years
it's
later, or however long it's been, 6 years.
yeah. And it's hard to get stuff done in that structure too. Like if you always feel like you have to battle 6 people above you just to get any idea approved, especially on like the marketing or the training side, it's tough because you have to sell your idea before you even get to make your idea, and then 30 of your 40 hours of your week are dedicated to convincing people that what you're doing is the right thing to do, and then 10 hours of it's actually doing the
Right.
work.
And the culture's not changing anytime soon, so you better just get down with it.
Yeah,
Or
pretty
leave.
much. Yeah, or
Or leave,
leave.
which is not really something people should be doing right now because the job market is so wild that you do want to stay put in a quote unquote safe job. If you've got a job, you probably should be staying in that
Yeah,
job right now.
yeah, it's crazy. And the wages are down
I've
dramatically
noticed that
too. Like
too.
I had offers a couple years ago for 115, 120,000, and those same jobs are now like 80,000.
Yeah. You see it with the hourly too. Sometimes I look at design projects if I want to pick up a short term, hopefully not year and a half project,
Yeah.
more like something to fill in the gaps when I want to. And I'll look at these and I know what my minimum is, and these are half of that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that is my minimum because that's what I made in 2019 when I first left and didn't know anything. And you are now offering in 2025, 6 years later, half of that for
Yeah.
a very involved project where you want the person available all the time and must be in Eastern time zone or Central so that we can collaborate.
Yeah.
What are we collaborating on? You're outsourcing work.
Yeah.
There's the collaborating doesn't have to happen from morning to night.
Yeah. I've
I'm not your
also
team member. I don't work with you. I work on a project
yeah,
for you.
exactly. I've never understood why they want you in the same time zone either. Like I stay up till 4 a.m. working most days. Like those are my working hours. So no matter what time zone you're in, I'm probably not getting on
You're
an 8
gonna,
a.m. meeting.
yeah. I have a friend like that too. He does a lot of design projects till like between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. He's very fast, that's just his witching hour or
Hmm.
whatever. Like he just
Yeah.
gets a lot done. And we've worked on projects together. And I guess I'm just attuned to the 9 to 5 schedule. Like I haven't broken fully free from that yet. My body hasn't.
Hmm.
Although I will say the evenings are very productive for me, like 8 p.m., 10 p.m. I'm so good at being creative and being productive. But I always was really intrigued by my friend that does this late night hour. He's made it work for him. He's been on vacation in Europe and they have no idea.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, we all have Wi-Fi. It's fine.
Yeah, ex exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like doing a lot of work at night. I like my I'm in Minnesota, so THC is legal here. So I just pop open a THC seltzer and I just start writing.
I don't know how you could be productive.
It is crazy. It's so fun. Well, it
Yeah.
goes back to my college days. I didn't do much
Yeah.
college work without it.
I feel like I envy people that can do things like that. Like some people will say, "Oh, I sip wine or drink a beer and then I paint my house or,
Yeah.
some home project." And I'm like, "No, all I want to do is sit on a couch."
Yeah.
If I had a drink, like you just described, like I'd be sitting on the couch. I would be doing absolutely nothing. I guess you could write while sitting on the couch,
Yeah.
but still, I'd be
Yep.
asleep.
Yep, that is fair. Yeah, my
Yeah.
usual night at this point is my girlfriend studies for her CPA for 2 to 3 hours. I sip on a seltzer and write either my courses or posts or blog posts or website stuff, and then we play Rocket League for an hour after that,
Nice.
and that's our night every
That was
night.
your little routine. What is Rocket League?
It is a video game. It's like soccer, but you're in cars. So it's 2v2 and you're in like a kind of like a hockey arena. Like it's a big circle with walls and then it's a big ball and it's just soccer, but you hit the ball with your car and it is
Cute.
yeah, it's very fun and very simple yet stupidly difficult. I guess like most sports. It looks very easy when you watch it and then you do it and you're like, "Oh my God."
Those are my favorite types of video games. I don't really play video games at all. I'm sorry. I know blasphemous to you. But you do know though that I have a Super Nintendo from the 90s and I
I
have
do.
a Sega CD, which I think Sega CD had the regular cartridges and the CD, like it's a
Okay.
dual type of unit, I guess. Because
Yeah.
I think you could put the cartridge in the top. Anyway, all the games that came with it, I still have. I mean, I would love to find whatever cord I need to find to hook that up to my more modern TV.
eBay.
Okay, I'll definitely look that. I think you gave me that tip before, and I haven't had the time to. Yeah, you'll probably have to remind me again.
Yeah,
But
I'll go find it. But yeah, eBay. That's the key.
I will.
It'll be like
Um,
20 bucks.
oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. That's worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Not that I thought it was going to be expensive. It's more of a time and pushing it aside thing.
Yeah.
Um, but for Super Nintendo, it had the best games. It had Super Mario Brothers, obviously, which I have, Donkey Kong Country, which I have,
Yeah.
the Aladdin game,
I remember that one.
that, and I think those are the three main ones that I had. Obviously,
Okay.
Sega was all about Sonic.
Sonic. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I had Sonic, I had Echo the Dolphin, which is actually so depressing. Have you ever seen
No.
the videos of, because sometimes I'll go for Echo and for The Sims, I'll go to YouTube and watch a playback or a like whatever people do, they
Yeah.
record the playing of it. The songs in Echo the Dolphin and the sound effects, it's like
Yeah.
this dolphin by himself and he's just like held captive in this game. You feel bad for him.
No.
He's
That's
not actually held captive. I mean, obviously it's a video game,
yeah.
but he's in the ocean freely and he's just did you ever play it?
I have
Do you know?
not. No. I know the name Echo the Dolphin, but I
Yeah.
have not actually seen the game. No.
It's actually very hard too. My
Okay.
brother was really good at it. I was never good at it, but you basically have to like there's these rock formations and you have to like jump over them and then you have to go deep into the ocean and the caves and all this stuff and I can't remember what you're trying to grab.
Yeah.
Coins, diamonds, something like that. But you're also you have to come up for air every once in a while so that
Okay.
your life doesn't
Yeah.
like your life points don't go
Yeah.
down to empty, something like that.
Okay.
But the music is so very mellow. I think it's relaxing, but watching it back, I think the nostalgic factor plus just seeing it as an adult, I'm like, it's a little depressing of a game.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, Super Nintendo, I think the games I played the most were Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
I
Because
think I had a Street Fighter on Sega. It may not have been Street Fighter. It was one of those fighting games.
yeah, like Tekken or Street Fighter, yeah. Those games were
Can't remember what it
Virtua
was.
Fighter. There's so many. They're
They had
so
the
fun though.
craziest names.
Yeah, they were so fun.
You're like Blade, and
Yeah.
he's you know,
Yep. Yeah.
Blade would come out and like fight you in the streets.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what
Maybe it was Street Fighter because they were fighting in the
Yeah, it
streets.
might be. Yeah,
And this
Sub-Zero was my
one,
favorite. I
what
remember
was her
him.
name?
Sub-Zero, he was like he shot ice.
It's a different game than the one I played, but who knows? Because different consoles or different years that maybe it came out or versions. Maybe it was different characters. I do know. I think one was called Blade. There was definitely a woman. They looked crazy. I mean, it was very
Yeah.
pixelated. This was probably early 90s. And I do remember you would go through each level was a different scene. And I remember one where you would like go up an elevator to the rooftop and you were like fighting people on the rooftop. So if anyone remembers that and is listening, tell me what the name is. You know what? I actually could Google it right now
Yeah, well,
while we're on.
yeah, we'll get that
Because
going.
now it's bothering me that I don't remember this. And I'm
That
gonna
is
say
fair.
Sega CD because it was definitely on, let's say Street. Oh, Streets
Yeah.
of Rage. It came
Oh,
up immediately. Streets of Rage.
okay. I think I have that on Steam
Oh
actually. I think they
my
remade
God.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is one that I'm gonna go look up on YouTube and watch someone play because the nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually I actually put like when I'm working, I put like live streams of people playing video games on in the background. It's always been my go-to.
Mhm. I love it.
Yeah.
What about The Sims? Were
I
you playing The
love The Sim.
Sims?
Oh yeah, I
The
actually
original?
yeah, I had the original. I had an
Mhm.
iMac, so I had to wait a year or two to
Oh.
actually get the CD
Oh,
because Macintosh didn't get The Sims until a year or two after
for
Windows.
you.
Yeah. So I eventually switched to a Windows PC specifically because of The Sims, so I could get them when they came out in order.
Wow. What about, did you have that, it was like there were cheat codes, but there was also this, I don't know, one of my friends gave me this burned CD that you could like put in your CD-ROM drive and then upload some patch or something so that you
Okay.
could get extra points. You would start off with more money.
Okay.
It was like this level up that you couldn't just have by playing the game
Yeah,
bare
yeah.
bones.
I remember like the cheat codes, like Rosebud was
The
the
cheat
money
codes are the,
one.
yes,
And
yes.
then I used to have a Game Shark for Game Boy, which is the same concept. It's this little device that you patch in, and then it has cheat codes like coded inside of it, and then you actually basically import those into the game. So that was kind of cool. And then modded one of my Xboxes that way once, so I could put like crazy mods in the video game Halo, so I could like instead of shooting bullets, I was shooting like cars out of my gun. It's so funny. But
Did you ever have the expansion packs for The Sims?
oh
I don't know
yeah.
if they still do that, but I had The Sims Hot Date,
Yep. Hot
where you
date.
would like build a restaurant and then your Sims would go date at the
Yep.
restaurant.
Yeah. There was hot
Yeah.
date. There was the pets one. Live in large, I think was the first one where it like was an actual expansion of new items. Yeah. There were so many. There was a magic one. I don't remember what that one was, but it literally introduced like witches and wizards.
Oh my gosh, I want to go back and play this. I just want to be 14 again and play this for the first time and
Yep.
experience it for the very first time again.
I know. It was so
It
fun.
was life-changing, The Sims when it first came out.
Yep. Those
Yeah,
were so fun. Yeah. I
those were the
spent a
days.
yeah, I spent a lot of time playing those.
Yeah. I think I did too. I also really liked it. Like I said, I like the simple games. This is more of an arcade game though. Snood. Do you remember
Yeah,
Snood?
I remember Snood. Yeah.
I would play that all the time. If
Yeah.
I hear the sound effects from it, it brings me back to 2002 or whenever it came
Yeah.
out or was popular. Whew, love that game.
Yeah. Snood is fun. Cubert. I remember Cubert. That was a goofy
Yes,
one.
Hubert.
Um,
Um, there was also some flash games, a lot of flash games actually back
oh
then.
yeah.
And there was one site where they all looked so beautiful. I can't remember the name of it, but I think they were all flash based, but they were all very pretty and illustrated, and I loved going there. And they were again very simple games where you just had to. There was one where you had to have these bees go through, and they had to pop balloons or something.
Okay.
I mean, just very simple.
Yeah.
I think they were almost meditative. I
Yeah.
was in college when I was like, if I wasn't studying, I was playing these games.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. I remember in high school I was in typing class and I finished like the module on the second day and I asked the teacher like, "Hey, well, how do I get the next module?" And she was like, "That's the last one." And I was like, "Oh, is that last one for the week?" She's like, "No, that's the last one for the class." She's like, "You finished that?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I type like 90 plus words per minute. I was even faster back then. So I just flew through them. And then she's like, "Well, just play flash games or something. Just don't distract others." And I was like, "Okay." So for an entire semester of high school, I played mini putt on addictinggames.com, which is just a
Oh,
miniature
I
golf
remember that
game.
site.
And I figured out how to get a hole in one on every hole. So it took me all semester and I figured out how to get a hole in one on every hole. So I had a perfect 18 score round by the end.
I would go to addictinggames.com my senior year of high school because I was a teacher's assistant. And then I think there was one other class where we had really not a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
You know, you're almost to the end there. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the
The
workload
senior
gets a little
slide.
lighter. The senior slide happens, and I would go on addictinggames.com whenever there was a lull in the day. But yeah, that was always a thing after younger. So I'm thinking more like fifth grade, sixth grade. After you finished your spelling test or whatever, you could go to the computer lab, and then the teacher would grade the test while everyone was playing computer games.
Yeah.
90s, man. It was
Yep,
so
that was fun.
simple.
Yeah, we played
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego?
Duke
Um,
Nukem for some reason. Weren't
wow.
we playing
I,
that?
I don't think my school got that one, but I wish.
Maybe it was like a light version, like the light version, because
Yeah.
it was still very, I mean, this was mid 90s, so it was not 3D or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. Duke Nukem and Doom, if you look at the original ones, are crazy
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was that. Maybe, now that I'm thinking of it, maybe it wasn't Duke Nukem. Maybe it was one of those, you know how Windows used to just have games
Yeah.
preloaded and they were, it was like Minesweep and
Minesweeper and Pinball. The pinball was amazing.
Pinball. There was also the skiing one where
Oh,
the
I
abominable
forgot
snowman
about
would
that.
come find you.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Um, and there was one with a guy. It wasn't Duke Nukem though. I should Google this because
Yeah.
again, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna say original. What do I say? Original. uh, um, Windows games, 90s. Let's see.
See what we got.
Duke Nukem is on there, but I don't think it
Okay.
was in that. Ski Free is the skiing game. Ski Free is 34 years old, according to
Wow.
this. Free Cell. Remember Free Cell versus
Wow.
Solitaire? Like you
Yeah,
either like one or the other.
I do remember that. That was a solitaire
Jazz
one.
Ball. I remember that. Oh, Chips Challenge. That's what it was.
Oh,
Chips Challenge. Ooh, that was a good.
I do not remember. I might have to go look at that one because I do not remember
I
that
mean, can
one.
we still play? I want to play.
Yeah, I can
You've got
probably
me
find it.
back into video games
Uh,
now. What are you gonna do to me?
I
Like I feel like this is gonna change my productivity levels.
well, I will get you an emulator, and you can emulate whatever games you want.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah. Basically, turn your computer into an old computer with one little
Oh,
switch. Yeah,
nice.
it's fun. I can play Pokemon
Cool.
on my computer, like the Game Boy version, which is pretty cool.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. I'm a nerd.
I just
Uh,
like the nostalgia of it all. You know,
yeah,
I don't care to play current games.
yeah,
There's no emotional pull for me. An
yep,
old game though, all about it.
yeah. Old games are the way to go. Yeah, we've been playing mostly Nintendo Switch, which is like Mario type games. So
hmm
a lot
I
different than my
agree.
usual. But it's been fun.
Yeah, that
Uh,
is really cool.
yeah, well, I'm only going to hold you for like 15 more minutes, but I do want to ask some LinkedIn questions while I have you
Sure.
here.
Yeah.
Um, as far as LinkedIn goes, you and I think you were posting before I was more consistently, but we've been posting consistently ish for the past 7, 8 months or so that I know of. What have you seen change since maybe September of 2024 to, we'll just say April 2025? What's been working and what's maybe was working and now isn't working, or vice versa? What do we got?
This is such a good question. For me, I just hit 9 months the other day.
Okay.
July 1st is what, because, I started with a 100 post challenge, and that was primarily to make myself get consistent, show up online, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And it worked because instead of me saying, I could have said, oh, I'm going to post 3 times a week to LinkedIn. But when you're starting at zero, going to 3 days a week, that could be quite a stretch for some people. So I was like, I'm just going to do 100 days, not 100 days in a row, just hit the number 100. And so the fact that I've been consistent, I have seen huge changes in what works, what doesn't work. Um, I also think that it's the stage I am in the journey altogether as well. There are changes with that. So last year, they you always could put video on LinkedIn, but last year they made it more of a video feed, as you know. And with that brought a lot of talking head style videos, a lot of people just dabbling in it, trying it, and then some people making it, very consistent and cranking out videos all the time. You have a lot of people saying now that these videos are not getting them impressions. And while I do agree with them in some regard, the text only is starting in 2025. The text only is doing better than the videos in a lot of cases. And that's why I always tell people it's not necessarily about the format. Like if you're looking at the results, you'll probably be discouraged, but it's you getting yourself out there and building a community. There's people looking at your profile, there's people following you, connecting with you. Whereas they may not be doing that if you're just doing text only, or maybe they will, but they don't feel like they know, like, and trust you. So anyway, all of that to say, video has had its hot moment, but I think a lot of people are starting to doubt it and go back to text only.
Hmm.
Back in February, my image posts were doing better than anything else, which is wild. No one even talks about image posts as like,
Yeah.
oh, do image posts, don't do image posts. It's never the hot or the cold. It's just there.
Yeah.
No one's really promoting it or saying it's great or horrible.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
feel
it
like
exists.
carousels, video, and text only are the post formats people focus on, and then the rest are just kind
Focus
of
on,
sprinkled.
yeah, focus on and debate over as well.
Yeah.
But I saw a shift towards text working better as far as impressions go, but not necessarily with engagement.
Mhm.
So and now I feel like they purged some bots or something because now, as you said in the beginning, impressions are, or maybe before we got on, impressions seem lower, but engagement is still great. And
Yeah.
so because you and I have built an audience too, we know that there are going to be people there. We're not going to post to absolute crickets
Mhm.
because we have people that, care about us. We care about them. We talk on their content. They talk on our content. Um, But yeah, if if you're just doing text only, it's just so much harder and slower to build that audience. And to me, I feel like audience creation is more important than content creation. And I also think that consistency doesn't mean frequency. So some people will be like, I'm going to post 5 times this week and I'll just make them text posts because they're easier. I mean, yeah, you might get your more eyeballs, more impressions, but how many people will stay with you? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, all of that to say, that's a very long-winded way. That's a very Sarah way of saying that I am seeing changes. Again, I think they purged some bots or something because the impressions are not as high, but the engagement's still really good. So that sort of window is closing a little bit, especially when it comes to content that has your face in it, video, image. I don't think that that's going to be a forever thing. I think that um, algorithms change all the time, and it kind of bothers me when I see posts where people are like, this type of format does not work. It's just a
Oh yeah.
blanket statement.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know that. First of all, what kind of attempt did you make? How many times did you do it?
Hmm.
In my 100 post challenge, which was from July 1st, 2024 through February 28th, I think, 2025, 27th or 28th, 2025, 242 days, I think I went. 100 posts. I did 30 something images, 30 something text only 28 videos. My highest performing content by far was videos.
Yeah.
So you can't just look at this week. Look at the whole thing. You got to be consistent and then look at the whole thing, not
Yeah.
just 7 days.
Yeah.
Because it's going to change again.
Oh yeah.
Next month, we could all be getting extreme, virality with our videos. We
Yeah.
don't know what's to come.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I am definitely like an image. Well, it's funny because I'm a video guy through and through. It's what
Yeah, you
pretty much
are.
my whole life has been video. But
Yeah.
I actually prefer typing and writing and making graphics, which is funny. Uh, but I've found that the videos really complement that other style because my voice is the same whether I'm in a video or typing. Whereas if someone's only doing text-based posts, I've never actually seen them talk. Like I don't know what how they are because they
Mhm.
might write completely different than they speak. Or even on a video, if I can tell they're just reading a script, I'm like, that's not them talking. Like they either wrote it themselves or they had AI write it or they had someone else write a script for them. And I'm like, I don't know them from this video. But when I watch authentic people on LinkedIn where it's just a video that they made on their own accord with their own, they either just turned the camera on and started talking or they wrote themselves a quick outline. I'm like, okay, I know exactly who this person is, and if I got on a call with them, I would know exactly how the conversation's going to go because
And that's exactly what it is. I want people to, grab a call with me or schedule a call with me and know who I am and how I speak and my style. I would so much rather have that. That calms my nerves too. If I have somebody out of the blue schedule a call with me, well,
yeah,
first of all, I don't even offer a coffee chat unless it's somebody who I'm already talking with. Um, I mean, I definitely offer coffee chats all the time, but I'm just saying it's not like it's just out there on my page
yeah,
and a random person can click it. But anyway, I like to know that that person is more purposeful about meeting with me. We already have had some sort of dialogue or they've liked, what I have to say. They know, like, and trust me by the time we're getting on a coffee chat. I think
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
And then I'm not worried about, oh my gosh, how am I going to come across in this call? Which I don't really do that anymore, but I feel like that is always something that people experience when they're brand new at this whole content thing.
yeah.
Like,
No,
oh, I have to meet people too.
that is a roadblock for some people, and I feel like a lot of people also don't know, like when they do get on that call and they didn't know what to expect, they might not be themselves. Whereas if you have this personal brand, like I have Lucky behind me and people point him out on like coffee chats and stuff, they're like, oh, Lucky's behind you, and it's like, yeah, because they've seen my stuff, so they're like, oh yeah, he's the stuffed animal guy, and
Yes.
it's like, so that just helps. I feel like even if they were nervous on the call, just them knowing how you are going to be, I feel like that puts them at ease too, which is
It really
nice.
does.
And they're less defensive or less offensive, I guess,
Yeah.
depending on what the call is about.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking of people right now who do text only, and I really have never seen them on video, and that's okay. pick whatever you want, man. Like, I'm not here to force you to do anything, but I don't know that I would be nervous to meet them on a call because I don't know how they are.
Yeah.
Are they going to be as cool as they are in text form? Do they come across as well? Just like you said, does it match?
Hmm.
And some people are, or maybe they're just having a low energy day. But if you're used to seeing them on video, you at least have a snapshot as into who they are.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the reasons I also like don't have a virtual assistant or someone that comments or like DMs on my
Yeah.
behalf because I want to control my brand through and through. And to do that, like I want my voice to be what they hear. So if I'm scheduling a call in a DM, I don't want them, I don't want someone else scheduling that call for me and then doing, the pregame work. And then they get on the call with me and it's completely different because my VA is super serious or like straight to business. And I'm,
Hmm.
again, the stuffed animal guy. So
Yeah. I feel like the only person that could speak on my behalf and keep my tone would be you.
yeah.
Like, I might be able to do it for you and you might be
Yeah.
able to do it for me, but there's very few people that I would select to say, "Hey, I'm going on vacation. Can you pretend to be me?"
Yeah. No, for sure.
In the comments. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be a rare thing to find someone that matches your tone
Yeah. And
and knows what's going on and could do like scheduling things, business appointments and things like that. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, if you find that person, then you are lucky. Keep
Yeah.
using that person. Keep paying them
Yeah.
well because it is
Exactly. And
it
don't
is
ever
tough.
let them go.
Yeah, and like the more unique your brand is, the harder it is to find that, the right fit if you are trying to outsource work. So that's why, yeah, I'm yet to outsource anything. I do want to outsource like I've been wanting to expand to other social media platforms outside of
Mhm.
LinkedIn, but I just don't have I have the time to be honest. I just don't have the mental capacity to want to repurpose all this content for all these different things and then also try and build relationships on these platforms. So if I was ever going to hire someone to help me, I would want them to run my other social medias, and all they would do is repurpose the content that I've on LinkedIn or my website, and then just they can like they know me. They're like, yeah, he already made that, so I just have to keep it in his voice or edit it in whatever style they want. But I feel like that's kind of the only way I would do
Mhm.
that.
We are so on the same wavelength because I have a document that I created because I've always told myself, "Oh, well, what would a VA even do? I don't know." I need to have specific outlined tasks and processes for them. Otherwise, it's just, "Oh, hey, go do this." And then you're either paying too much because now the hours have crept up, or if you're paying them hourly, or you just lose track of what's going on. So I started a list in this document. If I had a VA, this is what they would do. And I just add to it as I think of more things that I
Mm,
personally don't want to do in the future.
yeah.
And one of those is exactly that. I want to be able to be on other platforms, but right now it's just not possible. I might repost a video over on Instagram, but I'm going to do it 2 months after I posted it on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then I'm going to never do it with another video because it's
Yep.
just not, like you said, it doesn't even take that long. But it's the mental energy. I don't have an optimized profile over there. I used to post there years ago and it's stale and old now.
Hmm.
And I would want someone to help me with that, maybe two in the future. I'm starting to outsource a little bit with video because I have realized I cannot edit on like not skill wise. It's just, well, yes, skill wise too. If I want to do flashy edits, I can't do that.
Hmm.
But the
Yeah.
time that it takes is by far my least favorite part of the process. I enjoy ideas. I'm an ideas person through and through. I always have been. If you want a great idea, if you want a creative idea, if you want to word something in a fun way, I'm good at creating hooks for videos, the bulk of the video, the story, all that stuff I could do.
Hmm.
Once it's done, I want to be able to hand it off to somebody who knows my work and they just do it. It
Yeah.
goes into the magic factory and then it's back
Yep.
in a week or whatever.
Yeah. It's
And so
it.
I'm starting to do that because yeah, that's going to free up some time for me.
Yeah. And one thing for people that are afraid to outsource or like they're just have always had control, which is how I always was, for most of my life. But the feeling you get when you get an email or a package from the person that you hired and it's like the final product, it is always so much fun to watch and or look at or whatever it is. Like you're like, oh my god,
Yes.
they like made that happen, and it just you're
Mhm.
like, it just makes you feel like, yep, I made the right choice. And I think that once you feel that once, it's a lot easier to just keep doing that because like for my Halo videos, I have 582 videos or something that I've made on my YouTube channel, and I've edited all but four of them. And the four that I didn't are my favorite videos, not just because I didn't have to do the all the timely stuff, the stuff that takes time, but because I got to hire someone who that was what they liked to do was edit that type of video, so they were super good at it. And then, when I send, I'll send all my clips over to this person, and then 3 or 6 months later, they'll send me a video back, and it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah.
I
So,
think there's also something to be said about you being part of the full process. If you're the one editing, you don't like it anymore. I'm so tired of my videos by the time I post them because especially if there's a voiceover component or maybe it's a speaking video,
yeah.
because while you're editing it, depending on the app you're using, it's playing the audio the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to put the volume all the way down so I'm not hearing myself say that same sentence over and over and over while I'm
Yeah.
clipping that one little phrase off of it.
Yeah.
And you're just tired of it by the end.
Yeah.
For somebody else to do it, it's fine. It's not their own voice on the thing, and this is what they're good at.
Yeah.
And they have an optimized process. They don't have the emotions in it, the attachment, the control. You're so right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw this, I think it was a TikTok or an Instagram reel the other day of this guy, and he's like, the difference between like a casual video editor and a professional. And he shows like him editing by hand with his mouse and keyboard, like slowly. And then he shows only using the keyboard. He's using shortcuts, and he trims an entire video down in like 15 seconds with transitions and everything. Cause he's literally just keyframing it using his shortcuts, and he's done. And he's like, yeah, that would have taken a normal person 3 hours. I can do it in
Hours.
15
Yeah.
seconds because I've just been doing this forever.
Yeah. I was thinking that yesterday because like I said, I'm about to outsource video editing, my
Hmm.
Riverside videos. And man, yesterday I was like, I bet an editor just click, 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 boom, done. What just took me 3 hours
Yep.
totally would take them way less. And I also thought, okay, I'll edit this last one because I was present in that call. So I know even though things aren't in the right order in the recording, I can move them around. And I remember that this thing that they said in the beginning goes with this thing at the end. I want to rearrange those. And I was like, I do want to maintain some of that control. And then as soon as I started editing, I was like, nope, I don't need the control. They can figure that out. They can watch the video and say, oh, yeah, this profound statement goes with this other one at the end. Let me put those together.
Yeah.
They can figure that out. They've done video editing before.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't need to tell them that.
Yep. Yeah, it's so nice when
Just
they
because
know
I was in
that.
the call. Yeah.
And then, yeah, one thing I noticed when I was live streaming, when I used to live stream video games for like 4 to 6 hours a day, was people can cut clips of your broadcast while it's live. So they can like cut the last 30 seconds and like save it as a clip. And I've noticed that people would clip stuff that I would have never clipped, like that either I didn't find cool or didn't find funny, but they found it hysterical. So I like realized that like I knew who I was, but the who I was to other people and why they liked me was different than what I like would have thought. It was kind of like a fun, yeah, it was like a fun way to kind of learn about my audience while also learning about myself because I figured out what they liked about me based on what they would cut. Or like if I'd say
Yeah.
something ridiculous, they'd cut that, and they'd like based on the caption they'd put like the smartest man alive, or what the hell did he just say? Like I just based on the caption I'd know if they were making fun of me or
Or
they
if they
actually thought
loved
I
it.
said something
Yeah.
fun.
That that is such a point in the column of yes, you should be on social media. Yes, you should be creating content because I feel like the more I create content, the better I am at writing, the better I am at, the more I get on video, the better I am at speaking, articulating what I'm trying to say without rambling. I get that feedback in maybe a comment section. Someone says, oh, that part about this game changer or whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
If it's AI, they'll say game changer.
Yeah.
But
Game
if it's,
changer M dash.
yeah. But it's like they'll say, "Oh, when you said this, that's so true because," and then they'll go in. It's a very genuine comment. They're speaking from some experience,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, I almost deleted that part because I thought it was super lame."
Yeah.
So you don't know these things until you put something out there in the universe.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And even like when I'm watching TV shows now, or like Bob's Burgers or something, they'll say something that is completely like it completely makes sense in like a marketing context or a LinkedIn posting context. I'm like, oh my god, I should cut that 10 seconds of this
Yeah.
adult cartoon because
Yeah.
it's like more influential and makes more sense than most of the people posting on LinkedIn right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, well, that's another thing that's changing. You asked earlier about LinkedIn changes, and
Yeah.
I guess I gave the boring answer, the safe answer, which is it depends.
Yeah.
And a lot has changed. But yes, I'm noticing a change in the type of content as well. I noticed the same change back in 2020, the first time I quit the platform, but I'm not quitting this time because I've quit multiple times, and I could have been so much farther along if I hadn't quit
Hmm.
the platform. But back in 2020, obviously we had the pandemic and everyone was talking about Tiger King, and I was so tired of it. I could have cleaned up my feed. It just felt like Facebook, and I had already seen Tiger King. I didn't really like it that much. And I was
Yeah.
like, I grew up in Florida. These personalities are everywhere in Florida. Like, no offense to Florida, but there's a Joe Exotic on every corner. I'm not that floored by it. I
That,
don't know if y'all grew up sheltered or what, but
yeah.
like other people are watching it like, can you believe these people? And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not that shocking.
Eh,
Yes, there were shocking scenes. 100% there were shocking scenes.
mhm.
But the personas, I wasn't that floored by it. I've
Yeah.
met Joe Exotics in my life before.
Yeah, I never even watched it, but I've watched Jersey Shore, so I
Oh,
just
but
kind of I kind of
yeah.
picture it as Jersey Shore with tigers is pretty much how I think of it in my brain. So,
Yeah, yeah, you should go watch it just for not that it's in the cultural zeitgeist anymore, but, just to say you watched it if it comes up in conversation again.
yeah. Also, that
But
guy's
yeah,
in prison now, right? Am I crazy?
yeah, he is,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
nice.
Um, but yeah, it was everywhere on LinkedIn, and it felt like LinkedIn was either Facebook or maybe Twitter, and I'm seeing that again now where these one-liner posts, I mean, more power to you. If you get 2,000 likes on a post because you said, "Is anyone else thinking blah, 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 blah," and it's just a one-liner about
Yeah.
some relatable scenario, more power to you if you go viral for that.
Hmm.
But I'm seeing so much of it, and I guess I don't wanna be that person that's like, "The platform should stay the same," because I don't believe that. I don't think that LinkedIn should be so stiff at
Hmm.
all. I think it's great that we have fun posts, but I just want them to be valuable posts. I like the value that I get.
Yeah.
Uh, so every once in a while, a little tweet type post is cute. "Oh, yeah, haha, that's so funny," but they're
Hmm.
everywhere now, and I'm like, "What
Yeah.
is happening?"
Yeah. No, they are everywhere, and I feel like
Yes,
that's also reducing the reach just because people don't
it
scroll that
is.
far. So that's why, like, those posts are going viral. Well,
True.
by LinkedIn standards, I feel like viral by LinkedIn standards is like 100+ likes.
Much lower. Yeah, I've heard a couple different 100 plus, I've heard 500 plus, I've heard different levels of impressions. I told people in my 100 post breakdown that I never went viral, but there were two videos and one photo that got way more like a huge spike of impressions.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's considered viral. One of them got like 96,000 impressions, but I never got a million impressions. I know some people at the beginning of the video thing, when video first was, the feed
Yeah.
was first unleashed, people would post a video, and if the feed picked it up, they'd get a million impressions.
Yeah. Well,
It's not like that anymore.
no, and the crazy thing about that feed was I would never click those videos because I hate the LinkedIn video feed. Like, I hate watching videos in that way. It just
The
doesn't
side by
work.
side one.
Yeah, it just doesn't. And it's hard to interact on those on LinkedIn. Like, for
They removed
Instagram,
the name for one at one
yeah,
point.
yeah, it was just
You
a
couldn't even
blank
tell who
thing.
posted
I
it.
know.
What was that for?
Yeah, and then on your phone, if you tried to like it or something, you'd click on the wrong thing because it wasn't on there. You'd have to click it twice, and all of a sudden you'd like be on someone else's profile, and you're like, "What the
It
hell?"
was not intuitive at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, it was awful. But I would notice like scrolling through, it would show the feed every once in a while between posts, and it was the same videos from the same people
It was.
that I never clicked. And even if I did click it and watch it, it would show up again. So like they're getting a million impressions. I was probably 800 of them.
Exactly, exactly. Yes. Not only that, but I feel like, and I was telling people back then, and this is true, it's almost like when TikTok first started, like before it even blew up, all the styles were the same. It was all probably dancing and pointing on TikTok or whatever, because it still hadn't found its groove yet. We don't know what LinkedIn video will become. LinkedIn grows and changes, I think, slower than other platforms. new features, things like that. Like it's not a daily thing like it feels like with other platforms.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's
But
one
anyway,
monkey running the show back there at LinkedIn
yeah,
headquarters.
yeah, exactly. But it did feel like they were just trying to find their groove. And it was like if a video was of a certain quality or of a certain topic, maybe it went into the feed.
Hmm.
And then a person that was already posting that type of material, every single one of their videos went into the feed.
Yeah.
But then all 99% of the other videos being posted, which some were probably really low quality because people were just trying it for the first time,
Hmm.
those didn't get picked up. So it was just a very, very, very slim percentage of an already slim audience that was doing that type of content in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of promoted posts lately are like
Oh, yeah.
CEOs doing video just uncut raw and then promoting it, but they're in like a hotel room with terrible lighting. And I'm like, can someone on the marketing
They need
team
us.
just get this fucker a webcam?
They need to be watching our content where we give them tips on these things.
I
You
know.
had a whole video on lighting.
Yeah, yeah.
Send it over.
I remember I had like an informational interview in college with the vice president of marketing for AT&T, and he's the big wig. He makes 600
Yeah.
grand a year. I get on the video call. I have my streaming set up, and I look pretty good. He is at God knows where with a laptop, and he's using the laptop webcam, and he's looking down. So all I
Yeah.
see is
Yeah.
like up his nose the entire. He's like, hey Steve, how's it going?
And it's like really dark because the windows behind him,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's like FaceTiming with your parents.
yeah,
Like you can only see from here up
yeah, exactly.
or from here down.
It's so funny. I'm like, I feel like same with like celebrities too. You'll see all these videos like during the pandemic, they're recording all these videos, and
Yeah.
it's like on their tablet on the table, and they're like looking over at it. I'm like, can
Yeah.
someone just show them how to record a video?
Yeah. Their assistant, I'm sure, is well versed in
Yeah,
socials.
yeah. They're just the assistants recording them in the background, just laughing and putting it on their
Laughing.
Snapchat
Like,
story.
okay. Yeah. I'm just observing this. I
Yeah,
have no part in this.
yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I always say video quality isn't the most important thing. Like I have like over 20 grand worth of camera gear and stuff, and I have a
Mhm.
Netflix approved video camera. Like I could sell my footage to Netflix. But
Love it. Wow.
I use my phone for almost everything because it's just easy.
It's easy and you already have it. And
Yeah.
you have to cut these barriers out and not make excuses. And I think a lot of people will, like, I even get questions from people about editing software and I'm not even like I said before, I'm not an editor. I don't want to
Yeah.
be. I'm just coming up with the ideas here and helping you get out of your own way.
Yep.
But I get questions about editing software. I get questions about the tech, and I'm like, I can send you to Amazon
Yeah.
and get you a $9 microphone that I use and works very well for me.
Yeah.
But you're a beginner. You shouldn't be looking at anything beyond that. And they're
Yeah.
trying to look beyond that. And it's like, you're going to wait until maybe you have the money to afford that $500 microphone or whatever it is. And then you're going to wait for this. And then you're going to wait for the box to come to your house and the package to arrive. And then by the time all that's done, you're not even interested in creating videos anymore.
Yeah. No, I can promise you I have an entire studio here, and
Well, I know you do.
yeah, I usually sit at my kitchen table, or I just wheel this chair back about 5 feet, and I put my phone over in that corner and just do a video from there. Like there's
But
very little hurdles, and it's still, even with all this equipment, like I don't use most of it. Like I have a closet full of lighting gear. I have a I don't even know what this bag of wires is next to me and camera batteries, but I mean, behind me there's a podcast mixer. Like that's a full mixer there. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just I have stuff everywhere, and I use very little of it for my content.
yeah. Well, I'm sure you can educate people on it. Maybe you need to start up another YouTube channel where you just do tutorials on
Yeah,
all the tech. That way it's worth
yeah,
buying. I mean, I know you use it for other things as well, but show and tell
yeah, for
and
sure.
then monetize.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll definitely have to do that soon, especially because
Yeah.
I'm not doing any jobs right now that I use my cameras for. Like before, I was doing
Mhm.
photography work and videography, so it made sense. But now I don't do anything with it. So I take pictures of squirrels.
And we appreciate that.
Thank you, thank you. And then hopefully some
Love it.
turkeys. There's so many turkeys around here lately. I just need. My neighbor has pigs. I live in the suburbs, by the way, and my neighbor has two giant pigs, so I need to go take their portrait.
I don't think anyone in my neighborhood has pigs. I live in an HOA neighborhood though, so like there's
Oh,
rules.
that's fair.
Yeah, it's like one of those pre-planned neighborhoods where, you know, it's not cookie cutter, I would say. Well, it is because the facade on the outside is all brick, like
Oh
all the
yeah,
homes are brick. Every few homes have a different colored front door, but like it's in the same palette. So yes, it's cookie cutter, I guess. I don't
yeah,
like to say, it, but whatever. But yeah, HOA. I mean, that's kind of Atlanta. I live in Atlanta. Like a lot of these neighborhoods look pretty and polished because they were pre-planned, organized in a certain way. We are not an old city at all.
yeah,
We were fairly new. We had our population boom in like, I don't know, between the 90s and now. So a lot of homes are newer. We used to be so affordable here. Oh my goodness, not anymore.
not anymore.
But the homes used to be, I remember before I moved to Atlanta, I would watch House Hunters
Oh yeah,
and on HGTV.
best show ever. I still
And
watch Tiny House Hunters all the time.
I love HGTV. That used to be a dream of mine in high school was to be a host on HGTV. I wanted my own show or I wanted to take over one of the shows when somebody retired.
Yeah,
But anyway, I every time they were in the Atlanta area, it would be like, oh, this home with 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms and 2 stories and a basement is $120,000.
God,
And no joke, that was true. Even
yeah,
when I moved here, that was still true. And
that's
that was
crazy.
only 10 years ago, that was still true.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't even know what my house is worth right now. I have no clue, but I do know that I don't want to have to sell it and move
It's
somewhere
gone up.
else.
The values have gone up, which is great, but it's like, where are you going to go if you sell?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to afford something
I
else.
know. Yeah, I love my little neighborhood. I would like a smaller
Love my
house, which sounds ridiculous, but I would like a smaller house. But I have too many. I have two offices in here, like two full
nice.
offices and a full gym in the basement, and still an extra room and more stuff. And I'm like, I just fill it with nonsense. So
Mhm.
if I could just compact my life, like that's why I watch Tiny House Hunters so much because I'm like, I could do
Aspirational. Yes.
that.
Yeah, I like that.
Some people watch mansion shows and the parade of homes, and I'm like, give me a tiny, tiny room of a house.
I like those. Yeah, they're cool.
But might be tough with all the cats and dogs and birds that we
Yeah.
want.
Very true. Very
Yeah.
true.
I was talking to an agency owner here in Minnesota this morning, actually, and she said she just had to sell her ducks because she was getting noise complaints from the neighbors. So she has to switch
Ah.
species of duck because there's one that's quieter. So she's getting that one instead.
Oh,
And I'm like, it's so crazy. I was like, never even thought about
that
that.
is crazy. I never thought about that either.
But I guess, yeah, I guess they must, yeah. Guess the neighbors have their windows open all day or something and just get to hear ducks, which honestly sounds pretty awesome. I wouldn't complain about
Yeah.
that, but
Ambiance.
yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, before I let you go, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Definitely LinkedIn. I'm putting everything there these days. Again, we focus on one platform at a time before we expand. So all about the LinkedIn. And I'm sure you'll tag me if you put video clips from this
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But if you wanted to just do the URL thing, it's just my last name dash first name. So Barry dash Sara at the end of the linkedin.com/in/.
Yeah.
They make it so difficult.
I know.
Like
They
it's such a
really
long.
do. I know. I
Yeah.
don't know why they do that. Twitch does the same thing. They put like a random subdomain between your username, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I think people get it and like they can definitely find you, but some people are not very resourceful. So
Yeah.
maybe they won't.
Yeah. No, you need.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be tagged. We'll just say that.
Sounds
And
good.
I'm usually in your comments section,
You are,
so
yeah, and
maybe
you have a
tell me
very
there.
similar profile picture to mine, so it stands out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll see it in
Yeah,
the
we kind of
comments.
do.
Yeah,
Yours is more so mine's orange and pink, but yours is red. My orange is almost red with the pink together, and then yours is red and blue.
yeah,
I feel like yours is very superhero.
yeah,
Mine is Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah. I like it.
So combine very powerful things, very two very
Yeah,
powerful things.
yeah.
So yeah, they definitely look some, and I think the way we're turned maybe is the same,
I
the
think
way we're
so. I think we
facing,
are.
or like it's kind of like at an angle a little
Yeah,
bit.
yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm in this exact seat right here, like this.
Yeah.
because I was
Love it.
those my profile picture and the picture I use of me looking at my watch. It's actually the podcast cover. I use
Oh,
that
yeah,
for
I know that one.
everything. Those two
Mhm.
pictures are pictures I took for my girlfriend before a job interview. That I just
Oh, that's
set my
funny.
phone up on here and took them to send to
Yeah.
her, and then I just took the background out. I was like, oh, these will work.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort or high tech. Yeah,
No,
you just gotta do it.
yeah. So I was like, oh, these will work, and then yeah, I just started taking dumbass photos and making images with them, and there's my brand.
Building an audience with that. Look at you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it worked. And on the
it
superhero
worked.
side, my first brand, Animated Social, was also it was blue
Mhm.
and orange, and
Nice.
my motto was hire a superhero, and I had little cartoons with superhero capes.
I
So
like it. How appropriate.
yeah,
You've kept that thread throughout.
yeah, went full circle. Yeah, I definitely like my
Yes,
bright colors.
me too. I'm a bright colors
You
person.
know, well, you like flamingos, so you have to.
I do.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Actually, speaking of that, my neighbor just got two giant flamingo statues in their yard. I'll have to send you a picture.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
We'll definitely send that along.
Yeah, not like the Minnesota vibe you usually see, especially when it was
No,
literally
not
still
typically.
snowing. It's
Yeah.
still snowing out there right now. It's ridiculous. We're almost out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's getting hot here, so that's hard to imagine
Yeah.
that it's snowing.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for a little bit of heat, but I don't do well in the heat. You're from Florida, so
Yeah.
you've got that built up.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay in the
I'm
heat, but it's a lot for anybody, I think.
yeah, fair. Well, I appreciate you joining me today,
Of
Sarah, and I'm
course.
sure we'll have you back because we always have a lot to
Yeah,
talk
this is
about.
always fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and maybe do
Our
some
little
more.
chit chat.
Yeah, a little chit chats. Maybe do some more lives in the future. Maybe get
Yeah,
some
that'd be
video
great.
collabs going or something.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got plenty. We got plenty of people to work with too. I know
Mhm.
we've had a couple people from our live that we've both talked to a couple times about some stuff, and they're building some cool things. And then just a couple old podcast guests, I'm sure will would love to hop on and help us with some cool stuff. So
Definitely.
definitely do some more. Well, you have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday
Thank
today,
you.
so
Mhm.
you have some fun. I will do the same. And then actually my weekend is cooking chicken. I bought $28 worth of raw chicken breast from from Costco,
Oh
and I
my
have to
god.
cook it all. So that'll be my
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. Feast.
Yep.
Feast time.
Yep. The cats will get some too, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you
Well,
have
you enjoy that and have a lovely weekend.
yes, we'll do. And everyone, thank you for listening to the Stephen Rockwood Show. And Sarah and I will see you again soon. See you,
Sounds
Sarah.
like
Have a
Bye,
great day.
everyone. Thank you.